Okay, thanks for coming to my talk. My name is Heather VanCura. I'm with the Java Community Process Program Office, and today I'm going to do a 15-minute quickie talk to tell you about the JCP, the Adopt-a-JSR program, and how you can participate. This past year, we're celebrating 15 years of the JCP being in existence, and this coming year in 2015, it's 20 years of Java. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about what the JCP is, a new program that's been introduced in the last few years called Adopt-a-JSR, and how you can get involved either as an individual or through your Java user group or through your employer. So the JCP is designed for the community, by the community. It's the open, inclusive process to revise Java technology, specifications, the reference implementations, as well as the TCKs, the technology compatibility kits. Right now we have close to 800 members, and we have members that are corporate, as well as individual Java developers, and Java user group members and nonprofits. And currently, over the duration of the life of the JCP, we've had more than 370 JSRs developed or started through the JCP program, and a majority of those have actually gone final. At this point, we have maybe 30 JSRs that are being actively worked on and developed. A lot of these JSRs have already gone final, so part of today I'll also tell you about some of the JSRs that are currently being worked that are newly introduced and that you can actively participate in now. So the JCP is designed with levels of membership, and I'm going to talk to you a little bit about how this is going to be changing in the coming year in terms of introducing new levels. But at this time right now, you can participate as a public observer without having any type of membership agreement, or you can participate as a JCP member. Members are then eligible to serve on an expert group of a JSR, so you can be an expert group member. And all JCP members as well at this time are eligible to lead a specification, a JSR. We call that a spec lead, specification lead. And the JCP also has an oversight board called the Executive Committee, and JCP members are eligible to nominate themselves to run for an Executive Committee seat. The Executive Committee is the oversight board governing body that votes on the Java technology specifications, as well as forms the expert group for JSRs that evolve the JCP program itself. So the JCP at this point, over the duration of its life of 15 years, has really become more open than ever before. We have had an initiative over the last 5 years that's called JCP.next. And the current results of this effort to open up the JCP and make it more accessible to the Java developer community is currently we have a public JSR schedule that's current and updated regularly by the specification leads. All JSRs are also required to have a wiki and a public discussion forum that's also accessible to all members of the public, not just members of the JCP or members of the expert group, but all members of the public can read and comment and discuss the work of the JSR, which was not the case in the past. And also at this time, every JSR must have a public issue tracker. And again, with the issue tracker, it doesn't require any type of membership. That's open to the public for reading the issues and commenting on the issues. And the Executive Committee, that's the EC, votes on all JSRs at least 3 times throughout the life of the JSR. And each JSR goes through at least 3 open public review periods. So these are all of the things that make it easy for the Java developer community to understand the work of what's going on as Java technology is being evolved and created through the JCP. And now the next step of that, of course, is to actually get the Java developer community to participate in this process. So this is the effort that we've had with JCP.next, and this is what's currently available. As I mentioned, the JCP.next effort's been going on for a while. The 4th step is happening now. We're getting ready to finalize it, and it's through a JSR. We use the process to evolve the process, so we use a JSR process to change the governing structure of the JCP. So this JSR 364, is going on now, and it's entitled Broadening JCP Membership. It's currently in proposed final draft form, so we're getting ready to go to a final vote by the Executive Committee. And the goal of this JSR is to enable even more of the public to participate and really reduce all of the barriers that we've been able to identify to developers participating in the specification process. So we're trying to encourage more developers to join and ensure that they have the appropriate commitments in place for signing the agreements. And part of that is also making it simpler for individuals to join. So we've created a new class of membership that's going to be created in this year. We expect it to be launched at the end of 2015. So we'll have associate level membership. I know some of you in the audience have recently joined the JCP as an individual. So you signed the agreement that we have now, which is the JSPA, and then you went and had your employer sign the Exhibit B. So we're making it simpler for you now as an individual. You will have a one-page agreement to sign, and it will not require your employer to join at that point. So you would be a member of the JCP, an associate member, not a full member, but an associate member. And we're also making it easier for Java user group members to join the JCP by creating a simpler membership class and agreement for them, and that would be called a partner membership. So we'll have those two new levels of membership. And then we're also addressing one of the other barriers to joining, and that's more for the corporate side. We've previously charged $5,000 a year for corporations to join, and we're eliminating those fees. So it now will be free to participate in the JCP and join the JCP for all classes of membership. And as I mentioned, we do expect this to be final later this year. So we can be talking about those changes later. But for now, I'm going to talk to you about how you can get involved right now. So before I talk about how you can get involved, I'd like to just give you a little bit of refresher on what you get when you participate in the standards development process. So if you're joining as a corporation, you're creating more market opportunities for yourself. You're increasing the size of your market as well as giving more opportunities for the developers in your organization or consultancy, giving you competitive advantage in terms of having access to the standards before they're finalized. And as an individual, really what you're doing is educating yourself in the process of new standards, acquiring knowledge, getting some soft skills, experience, and skills development, as well as growing your network and potentially getting a little bit of fame associated with your name in the international Java developer community. So as I mentioned, it is okay to join, participate as an individual, but what we found over the last few years especially is that if you work as part of a team in your local community, it's even better, and it gives you a broader voice as well as a more informed voice when you give your feedback to the specification leads. So you can work through your Java user group, or you can work through your employer by having them join. And as part of working together as a group, an Adopt-a-JSR initiative was launched by a couple of very active Java user groups in the international Java developer community by the London Java community here and SoJava in Brazil. So it's a grassroots initiative led by Java user groups working together to improve Java standards, leveraging the work that we've done with JCP.next and having everything public and accessible. That gives the opportunity for Java user group members to participate in this process without having to go through any membership process of each individual Java developer of every Java user group joining the JCP. You can work together as part of your Java user group. So we have Adopt-a-JSR, and it's been helping a lot of the Java user groups around the world, giving them a little bit more attention in the industry. I know that's particularly true here in London with the London Java community, and kind of building up their leaders, becoming more professional. As if you heard the keynote this morning from Daniel Bryant, he's been an active leader in Adopt-a-JSR, and that's really influenced his career trajectory. And it attracts more members to your Java user group who are interested in different things. And the Adopt-a-JSR program also gives you an opportunity to collaborate with Java user groups from other parts of the world. Because currently we have about 28 Java user groups actively participating in the Adopt-a-JSR program from all over the world. I've given you a few examples here. But we have people from North America, South America, Europe, Africa, Asia, Australia. So almost every place. Don't have anyone in Antarctica yet. It's the only exception I can think of. So since this program started about 3 years ago, what we found is working with the Java user groups and the spec leads, a good analogy to use is it's a two-way street. So the Java user groups work with the spec lead, but the spec lead also has to give back to you as a contributor and participant. So we have developed a few pointers on how you can get started in participating in Adopt-a-JSR and being more effective. So You can, how to get started if you want to participate in the Adopt-a-JSR program is to join the JCP as a first step as a Java user group. We recommend that you do this. You definitely need to do it and have the appropriate agreements in place in order to contribute code, but there are things that you can do that would not require you to join. You definitely should join the Adopt-a-JSR project, and that's currently on java.net. There's a link to it here in my slides that will be available, as well as subscribe to the mailing list. So we share information there. The Java user group leaders around the world share information there. And there's lots of resources and links on the wiki, as well as a matrix where you can indicate that you're signing up to participate in certain JSR. And that way we can follow up with you and answer any questions. So also that wiki serves as a resource to see what other Java user groups have done. So I picked out just a few examples for you here in terms of what some Java user groups have done. The Belgium Java user group actually developed an application with some of the Java EE7 specification JSRs, in particular WebSocket, and did a lot of hack days and testing. In London, Java community has been very active in Adopt-a-JSR. They held a myriad number of hack days, particularly around the Lambdas JSR, as well as the date and time JSR. And as I mentioned, SoJava earlier in Brazil, very active again. They do a lot of translation of events. They hold versus hack days, they call them code dojos. They translate a lot of materials into books. Host classes in the local language. They like to have things in Portuguese versus in English. So they've done a lot of work with the Adopt-a-JSR program in that regard. So those are just a few examples of things that Java user group members have done. And I also told you I'd tell you about some of the JSRs that you might be interested in working on now, since the JCP has been around for a while and we've had 370 JSR projects started. Sometimes it's helpful to get a little bit of direction in terms of where you might want to go. Some of the JSRs for Java SE9 are starting to get filed. Right now we have JSR 376. That's the Java Platform Module System. Talking about modularity in the platform for Java 9. And we have several Java EE JSRs. I've listed all of them on the next slide. That's slide 19. Since there are at least 12 of them filed already for Java EE8. And there are some JSRs that aren't part of the actual platform. So like the Money and Currency API that recently got approved. There's a Units of Measurement API, a Desktop Embedded Application API that just was filed. And there's also reignited work around the real-time Java specification. So if you want to look at this offline on slide 19, because we're getting close on the time, these are some of the Java EE8 JSRs. So for instance, I know someone in the audience is working on MVC. That one's been filed recently as JSR 371. So all of the component JSRs and their associated numbers are there. So the idea behind Adopt-a-JSR is to be community-driven, to have the community share ideas and feedback, follow the expert group discussions that are public, as I mentioned, read early versions of the specification, and actually give feedback to the spec leads. They're very anxious to get feedback on the spec, as well as testing out the early access reference implementations, writing and speaking about the technology in your local community, and encouraging people to get involved is also very helpful. So those are just some of the ideas of things that you can do. The whole idea behind the JCP and Adopt-a-JSR is to get you involved and really put the community into the JCP by eliminating all these barriers that I mentioned that we have eliminated for you to participate, and making the projects available for you so the Java community can participate in the implementations of the Java platform through the reference implementations for the platforms. For Java SE, that's OpenJDK. For Java EE, that's the Glassfish project, and in the evolution of the platform and the specifications through the JCP program. So I encourage you to get involved and find out more. I have the links. If you look at the resources online, that'll be on slide 22. So the links I mentioned earlier. We have some resources on our multimedia page, as well as the jcp.org homepage, where you can find links to all of the JSR projects, and then the wiki for Adopt-a-JSR. And all of these have their associated Twitter, Facebook, blogs that you can follow as well. Whatever your favorite social media network is, you can find information there. Adopt-a-JSR also has an IRC channel that's monitored by the London Java community, so you're welcome to participate there. Also, the Java user groups participate back with some of their Hack Days activities that they put together on the GitHub organization. So that's what you would find there. So like the Belgium JUG, the materials they put together for their Hack Day are there, as well as some of the materials that the London Java community put together for their Hack Days. So it gives you a little bit of resources rather than having to start from scratch with running Hack Day events. So thanks for attending my quickie talk. I'll be upstairs the duration of the conference. There's a hacker garden upstairs in the atrium area, so I'll be spending the majority of my time at the conference there. If you have more questions and want to talk, come find me there, or on the social media links I gave you earlier, I monitor all of those, so you can find me there as well. Thank you for coming to my talk.